Hey everyone, today we are here with a new series of the Elizabethan age. So यहाँ पे हम देख रहे थे कि what is the mean by Renaissance? Renaissance क्या था and how it was started and what is the Tudor literature? So here we will read about the Tudor literature. Tudor dynasty के बारे में पढ़ेंगे which was started from 1500 to 1603 जो कि 1500 से लेके 1603 तक चला था. So here we will start with the Renaissance and Reformation. So यहाँ पे हम Renaissance and Reformation के बारे में पढ़ेंगे which is very very important. So here what we have to do, the Tudor period refer to the period era between 1485 and 1603 in England and Wales. तो ये कहा जाता है ये जो ट्यूडर पीरियड था ये 485 से लेके 1603 के बीच का टाइम है इंग्लैंड में और वेल्स में. ठीक है. It also includes the Elizabethan period during the reign of Elizabeth I until 1603. तो ये जो पीरियड था ये Elizabethan पीरियड को भी इंक्लूड करता है जिसमें एलिजाबेथ फर्स्ट थी till the 1603 तक. And the Tudor period coincided with the dynasty of the House of the Tudor in the England that began with the reign of Henry VII. और कहा जाता है ये जो ट्यूडर पीरियड था ये हाउस ऑफ ट्यूडर से स्टार्ट हुआ था जो कि हेनरी सेवन की राज्यकाल से स्टार्ट था, रेन से स्टार्ट था, जो जिनका टाइम था 1457 से लेके 1509. तो हेनरी सेवन का अगर हम बात करें तो इट इज ऑल्सो टाइप ऑफ अ प्ले जिसको शेक्सपियर ने लिखा था. So here we will see the reign of the Tudor dynasty, King's reign. ठीक है. तो फर्स्ट was King 7 जिनका 1485 से लेके 1509 तक टाइम था. सेकेंड वॉज हेनरी 8 जिनका 59 से लेके 1547 तक था. और उसके बाद है एडवर्ड 6 1547 से लेके 1553 तक था. और मैरी फर्स्ट थी 1553 से लेके 1558 तक. And the last one was 1558 से लेके 1558 से लेके 1603 तक इनका टाइम माना जाता है. So here we can say that none of Henry VIII children had many offspring of their own, and when Elizabeth first died, she was the last of the Tudor monarchs, and she was followed by the James Stuart from Scotland, and the first of the Stuart dynasty and the descendant of Henry VIII, eldest sister Margaret. तो यहाँ अगर हम बात करें जो हेनरी 8 थे had children had any offspring in their own. So when Elizabeth had first died, she was the last of the Tudor monarch. तो कह रहे हैं जो हेनरी 8 थे उसके बाद उनका कोई भी वंशज नहीं था, कोई भी चिल्ड्रन नहीं था. तो उसके बाद एलिजाबेथ लास्ट ही थी और ट्यूडर मोनार्की. एंड उनके बाद जो आया जो राजा उसका नाम था जेम्स स्टुअर्ट जो कि स्कॉटलैंड का था. और इस तरीके से द फर्स्ट ऑफ द स्टुअर्ट डायनेस्टी जिन्होंने फर्स्ट स्टुअर्ट डायनेस्टी को एस्टेब्लिश किया. एंड द डिसेंडेंट ऑफ हेनरी 8 द एल्डेस्ट सिस्टर मार्गरेट जो कि हेनरी 8 की एल्डेस्ट सिस्टर मार्गरेट का डिसेंडेंट था, उत्तराधिकारी था. ओके. Now here we will see the early Tudor period, particularly the reign of the Henry VIII 1491 to 28 January 1547. तो ये जो माना जाता है ये जो ट्यूडर पीरियड है ये कब का टाइम माना जाता है, ये हेनरी 8 का टाइम माना जाता है जो कि 1491 से लेके फिर 28 जनवरी 1547 तक का टाइम था. वॉज अ वीकनिंग ऑफ द फ्यूडल टाइज. इस टाइम में फ्यूडल जो सिस्टम था वो पूरी तरीके से वीकेंड होने लगा था, which brought about the vast increase in the power of monarchy. और इस तरीके से कहीं ना कहीं सबसे ज्यादा जो पावर थी वो monarchy के पास आ गई थी. The historian John Guy 1988 में जिनका टाइम था argued that England was economically healthier, most expensive and more optimistic under the Tudors. तो ये जो जॉन गाय है इनका मानना था कि 1988 में इन्होंने आर्गू किया था, इन्होंने अपनी क्रिटिसिज्म के थ्रू बताया था कि इंग्लैंड उस टाइम पे सबसे ज्यादा इकोनॉमिकल हेल्थी कंट्री थी और सबसे ज्यादा एक्सपेंसिव भी थी, महंगी भी थी, और सबसे ज्यादा ऑप्टिमिस्टिक थी, आशावादी थी, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे ट्रेड, कल्चर, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट चीजों की स्टार्टिंग हो गई थी। एंड देन एनी टाइम सिंस द रोमन ऑक्यूपेशन, और ये कहा जाता है सबसे ज्यादा रोमन ऑक्यूपेशन के टाइम पे ट्यूडर डायनेस्टी सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर मानी जाती है। ओके, now during this period stronger political relationship with the continent were also developed, and increasing England's exposure to Renaissance culture, humanism became the most important force in English culture, English literary and intellectual life. Both in its narrow sense, the study of the imitation of the latent classes, and it a broad sense after the formation of the secular and addition of the otherworldly concern of the pupil. Now, these focus produced during the reign 1558 to 1603 of the Elizabeth I, and one of the most fruitful eras of literary history. तो कह रहे हैं ह्यूमैनिज्म बिकेम द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट फोर्स इन इंग्लिश लिटरेचर। तो उस टाइम पे जो ह्यूमैनिज्म था वो मानवतावादी उस टाइम पे सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट फोर्स, इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क था इंग्लिश लिटरेरी और इंटेलेक्चुअल लाइफ में। बोथ इज इन इट्स नैरो सेंस, और दोनों के अपने खुद के नैरो सेंस से। द स्टडी एंड इमिटेशन ऑफ लैटिन क्लासिक, और उनका जो मेन उद्देश्य था लैटिन क्लासेस का अध्ययन करना था, उनकी नकल करना था। एंड इन इट ब्रॉड सेंस द एफर्मेशन ऑफ सेकुलर, और अगर हम दूसरे ब्रॉड सेंस में बात करें तो सेकुलरिज्म को इन लोगों ने बढ़ावा दिया। इन एडिशन टू द अदर वर्ल्डली कंसर्न ऑफ द पीपल, और दूसरे शब्दों में कहें कि वो लोग लोगों के लिए ज्यादा कंसर्न थे। मतलब अर्लियर व्हाट वी हैव रीड दैट पीपल वर फॉलोइंग द रिलीजन्स, बट अब यहाँ पे ह्यूमैनिज्म को ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस मिली थी बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रिंटिंग प्रेस, बिकॉज ऑफ द large or huge publication of the Bible or by different copies. Okay, these forces produced during the reign 1558 to 1603, और कहा जाता है ये जो फोर्सेस थी, मतलब ये जो रेन था ये 1558 से लेके 1603 तक चला, ऑफ एलिजाबेथ फर्स्ट, जो कि एलिजाबेथ फर्स्ट के अंदर में था। एंड वन ऑफ द मोस्ट फ्रूटफुल इरास इन लिटरेरी हिस्ट्री, जो कि कहीं ना कहीं एलिजाबेथ का जो पीरियड था वो सबसे ज्यादा फ्रूटफुल इरा था हिस्ट्री में, लिटरेरी हिस्ट्री में। A literary renaissance was triumphantly relaunched in the late 1570 by Sidney and Spencer, and the 1590 produced, besides the drama, an unprecedented evidence of non-dramatic poet and translator. And this Elizabethan golden age also saw a variety of prose, artful, lively and dignified. तो कहा जाता है ये जो लिटरेरी रेनेसां था एक बहुत ही विजय गाथा थी, विजय पथ था रिलॉन्च करने का इन द लेट, मतलब कब ये रिलॉन्च होता है, 1570 में स्टार्ट हो गया था। और ये कहते हैं कि एक विजय गाथा थी, विजय चक्र था, जो कि कहीं ना कहीं सिडनी और स्पेंसर ने स्टार्ट किया था बाय रिटन सेपरेट कैलेंडर और आर्केडिया टाइप ऑफ वर्क। एंड इन 1590s प्रोड्यूस बिसाइड द ड्रामा, और साथ ही साथ 1590 में ड्रामा भी इसके अलावा पब्लिश हुआ था। And unprecedented evidence of non-dramatic poet and translator. So earlier they were only writing prose, or they were writing only poem. But when they start publishing the drama, that is different thing. That is unprecedented thing in that time. और इससे कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ज्यादा लिटरेरी इरा में क्या हुआ, बहुत से ज्यादा मतलब कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन हुआ, और दे स्टार्ट ग्लोराइजिंग द time and situation of that period. Now this Elizabethan the golden age also saw a variety of prose, artful, lively and dignified. तो इस तरीके से जो एलिजाबेथन एज है वो गोल्डन एज माना जाता है in the field of prose, in the field of art, in the field of life, in the field of so many things. Okay, so here we will talk about the Sir Thomas Watt, जो कि थॉमस वॉट, जो कि बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट, यहाँ पे हम जिनके बारे में बात करेंगे, वॉज द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल सनेटर। तो इस टाइम पे सबसे पहले जो सनेटर आए थे वो थॉमस वॉट ही आए थे। Among early Tudor poet was Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, और इनके साथ ही Earl of Surrey भी आए थे जिनका नाम हेनरी हार्ट था. Samuel influence. Now, total miscellany 1557 में आई थी was the first and most popular of many collection of experimental poetry by different form and in various hand. तो फर्स्ट टाइम पे टोटल मिसलेनी आई थी 1557 में जो कि एक कलेक्शन था एक्सपेरिमेंटल पोएट्री की बाय डिफरेंट डिफरेंट राइटर्स की कलेक्शन थी. ठीक है. और इसको सबसे पहले हेनरी हार्ट एल्ड ने और पिकेंसी थॉमस वेट ने पब्लिश करवाया था. A common goal of this poet was to make English as a flexible poetic instrument as Italian. और इनका मेन एक ही एम था कि जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज है ये कॉमन लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट हो जाए, फ्लेक्सिबल हो जाए और पोइटिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट एज इटालियन, जैसे कि इटालियन लोग इटालियन लैंग्वेज का यूज हो रहा था, लैटिन लोग लैंग्वेज का यूज हो रहा था, वैसे ही इस लैंग्वेज को ही ये लोग फ्लुएंसी देना चाहते थे. एंड among the more prominent of this group were थॉमस चर्चयार्ड. अगर हम बात करें तो और भी राइटर्स इस टाइम पे ऑथर थे जैसे थॉमस चर्चयार्ड, जॉर्ज Gascoigne and Edward D. Burgh, Earl of the Oxford. An ambitious and infidential work was A Mirror of the Magistrate, which was came in 1559. तो यहाँ पे different जो ऑथर थे चर्चयार्ड, Thomas Churchyard, George Gascoigne, and Edward Davey, Carl of Oxford. These are the very important writers of this era, and they have written. And the main ambitious work of this era was A Mirror for Magistrate, which was published in 1559, a historical verse narrative by several poets that updated the medieval view of history and the moral to be drawn from it. Okay, and the poet who best synthesized the idea and tendency of the English Renaissance was Edmund Spenser. His unfinished epic was a Fairy Queen, which was came in 1596. Is a treasure house of romance, allegory, adventure, Neoplatonic ideas, patriotism, and Protestant morality, all presented in variety of literary style. Now, the ideal English Renaissance man was Sir. So, the Fairy Queen was 1596 is a treasure house of romance, allegory, adventure, Neopolitic idea, and planetaric ideas, patriotism, and Protestant morality, all presented in a varieties of literary style. The ideal English literature man was Sir Philip Sidney, scholar, poet, critic, courtier, diplomat, and soldier, who died in battle at the age of 32, and his best poetry is contained in the sonnet sequence of Aristotle and Stella, which we read earlier in 1591, and the defense of poesy, which was the important work of literary criticism in the tradition. Now, after this, we will see that many other is a historical era when poetic talent were highly valued and there were skilled poet. Important late Twitter writers include Spencer, Shakespeare, Michael Drayton, Samuel Daniel and the Fulk Gravel. Okay, so these are the main writer of this era, and they have done a lot of things. Now, more versatile, even we can say more versatile, even the city was Sir Walter Raleigh, poet, historian, courtier, explorer, and soldier, and who wrote strong spear poetry. So early Tudors owed much to both medieval morality play and classical modern Ralph Roasted Oyster, written around 1552 and published around 1567 by Nicholas Odell and Grammar Girton Riddles. 1559 are considered the first English comedies, combining element of classical Roman comedy with native burlesque, and during the late 16th and 17th century, drama flourished in English as never before. Now it can be the age of the work with the work of the university which those whose sophisticated play set the course of the Renaissance drama and paved the way for the Shakespeare. So here what we have read in this dynasty, we have read about the different poets like Spencer, like Sidney, like Spencer Fairy Queen, which came in 1596, is very important work. That is an allegorical poem. Okay, and apart from this, we can read about the Philip Sidney's, whose work is Astrophel and Stella, which was sonnet sequence, which was came in 1591, and his defense is poetry among the most important literary criticism. Okay, now if we talk about the different sonneter in this time, Spencer, Shakespeare, Michael Drayton, and we can say Samuel Daniel and Falke Gravel, and so many people are there. Okay, and if we talk about the great comedies of this era is Ralph Doster, which came in 1552 and written and published in 1567 by Nicholas Udall, and other one is Grammar Curtains Needle, which came in 1559, are considered the first English comedy in this era. Okay, and these are very famous. And during the late 16th and 17th century, drama flourished. So when the drama flourished, so late 16th and 17th century, the drama start publishing or written by the different writers, and it can be the age of also the university weight and sophisticated play like Renaissance morality mystery plays, which was written by Shakespeare. So here what we have to read, the highlight of the era is Renaissance and Reformation. Okay, the Renaissance expectation, investigation, and then we can see that England's place in England about the Reformation. So here we will read about the courtiers, Sir Thomas More, the courtiers, Sir Thomas Watt, the Earl of Surrey, religious process we will read, Bible translation we will read, instructive prose, drama. So these are the important things we will read in this topic. So the first topic we will see here, that Renaissance. As we know, Renaissance is a derived from the French or Latin word. Very important, from which word it has derived. It is derived from French or Latin word, which meaning is rebirth. So it refers to an experience of European world that began from 14th century and was characterized by the rebirth of learning, art, and culture. So this is the era of rebirth of learning, art, and culture. Means the new things start emerging in this place, like science, in the field of science, in the field of art, in the field of culture. If we talk about the painting of Mona Lisa, if we talk about Galileo invention about the universe, okay, and steam engine, so many things start happening in this era. Okay, and the people of this period felt that there was a sharp break between their own age and dark ages that had been preceded drama, and dark that had preceded them, and moreover that they were similarly between their own civilization, that of the Greek and Roman, who had flourished between 400 BC and 300 BC. Later historians have sometimes agreed that sometimes disagreed with this point of view. So Jules Millet, in his book La Renaissance, तो here the very important book which we can say Jules Millet की एक book आई थी which name is La Renaissance, held the two most significant feature of to pay for the discovery of the world and the discovery of the man. The Renaissance began in Italy. So where it was began, it was started from Italy, lasted around 1300 to 1600 historically, and then